you ever wonder what grit, grind, determination, and motivation looks like on a basketball court? Well, let me take you to Taste Creek High School here in Lexington, Kentucky, where boys varsity basketball coach Jarrod teaches these young men not only how to be better basketball players, but also the principles of life. So sit down, grab a snack as Jarrod hangs out with us here in the Coach's Corner. What's up, it's your boy Q Walker. Welcome back to another segment of Coach's Corner. Today's guest is Taste Creek boys varsity basketball coach Jarrod. How you living, man?
What's up, boss, man?
Appreciate you. Thank you for having us out here today. Taste Creek Commodores, one of the blue bloods of the city, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. You know, what we're doing here is we're highlighting some of the African-American coaches, not only around the city, but around the states, around the counties and things like that, which brought us to you. So let the people know who don't know who you are. Who's Jarrod
Jarrod, born and raised Lexington, Kentucky. Played at Henry Clay High School. Ended up transferring, playing my senior year at Bryan Station. Played at Kentucky State University. I had an opportunity to play professional and things didn't work out, so I took the coaching route. Went to coaching, coached at K-State, ended up coaching at Bryan Station for 4 years, 1 year at Henry Clay, and now I'm here at Taste Creek.
Yeah, we're here at Taste Creek. So let's go back before we go forward. Let's talk about your high school days. You was at Henry Clay first, right?
Yes.
So when you was at Henry Clay, what was the one school that you just couldn't wait to go up against?
It was probably Bryan Station.
That's everybody's answer, man.
Yeah, just because, I grew up on the north side of town, and all my friends, I went to Winburn, and, all my friends played at Bryan Station, and I happened to move. And since I moved, I was playing against them, and I was like, I got to prove something. I got to show it, show what I'm capable of. So Bryan Station was the...
Now you mentioned your friends and playing against him. Who was that one player in the city where you was like, man, I'm circling this date. I can't wait to play against him?
Well, when I was at Henry Clay, of course, it was Tino. Tino Washington was my best friend. So
okay.
I was like, yeah, after I beat you on the court, I'm going to go home and beat you on this video game. After that, when I transferred to Bryan Station, I think Dunbar was one. And what made that rivalry so big was that on our off days, on the weekends and stuff, we played against Dunbar's players at the police gym or at alumni on UK's campus. Though now it ain't there no more, the old gym, but we used to call those guys up and we'll play 2-3 hours, and then when the season came, it made it bragging rights. So I think Dunbar was the team.
Yeah, for a lot of people who don't know, Bryan Station Dunbar is one of the biggest rivalries in Lexington. It's a packed house every time. How far did you get it as far as high school? Did you get to district, regionals? Did you get to state?
Yeah, so my sophomore year, I played at Henry Clay. Only played 4 games, but the biggest moment was when Lamont Campbell, first time ever passing. Don't ever listen. Lamont never passed. All right. So we was in the state tournament and we was playing Iroquois. First round, Lamont threw it to me. I caught it for about 30 feet. Right before halftime, let it fly, and it went in, and I got myself in the paper. So we went to the state my sophomore year. Then my junior year, we lost first round in the district, and then my senior year, we won the district. We beat Henry Clay here on this floor. Made it to the regional final and lost to Henry Clay.
Dang.
Yeah, in the regional final by I think it was 3 or 4 points. So I've been to the state, I won the district, I won the region, been to the regional final. So that experience right there of me having that was great.
So what would you say was your best high school game?
It was probably the district championship game here my senior year, and I remember it vividly. I had 7 points. I had about 13, 14 rebounds. I was very active defensively. I had about 7-8 steals, and I was named district MVP just off scoring that many points. I probably didn't even score that many points, but just, controlling the game, taking charges, being the hustle guy, doing everything that we needed to do to win. So that was probably one of my best high school games, if not the best.
It's crazy that you bring that up, the fact that you had 7 points, but you made a greater impact doing everything else. Do you feel like that part of the game is lost on today's youth, where a lot of youth think oh, it's all about scoring. It's not really about rebounding, defense, the intangible things, taking charges, making sure your teammates are good spirits. Do you feel like that's missing in today's game?
I absolutely do. And that's one thing that I try to preach to my kids is that, if you guys are fortunate enough to get an opportunity to play at the next level, you're going to get a guy who's 6'9", that's on the post, that demands that ball. You're going to get a guy who's 6'6" on the wing who can shoot the ball. You have to be able to do more than just shoot. And that's the thing that we try to preach to our players here at Taste Creek. And that's the thing that a lot of kids really don't understand. Mm-hmm. It's hurting, overall basketball because everybody thinks score, 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 score.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I give them the analogy. Anderson Varejao gets paid millions to rebound and, play defense as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Tristan Thompson gets paid just to rebound, block shots, be active.
Rondo, Patrick Beverly. These guys get paid millions to do a job, and their job isn't to go out here and shoot the ball and score every time.
That's what's up. So let's go back. So let's go to your college days. You enrolled at K-State.
Yeah.
So take me through your first practice of collegiate ball versus your last practice of high school. Because when you're in high school, you can only practice a certain amount of hours.
Right.
But when you step into that college world, what was your first practice like?
Oh man, it was life changing. Life changing. You really thought after practice, is this something that I really want to do? Do I really want to be a college basketball player? Or do I really want to just be a student?
It was that bad?
It was that, well, and it was just the time consuming
of
it. Like you said, high school, you only can practice a certain amount. In college, they do have restrictions on it, but it's intense. Mm-hmm. The entire time's intense. And if you're not into it or intense in that moment, man, you on the line, you on the treadmill, it was all types of punishments that, you could get with, and it's just part of it. It's really part of it. But I remember being a guard thinking I'm going to come out here and take over, and get out here and you're like, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Here goes a 6'5" guy who's monster athletic, play the one, and I can't get around him. Or I got to stop him from getting this, to his spot. So, yeah, college, the first practice was just like, oh, goodness.
So it was just a whole, so what was your, I know practice was eye-opening for you, but what was your, as far as a game experience, welcome to college moment?
We had a scrimmage against Urbana. I can't even think of TJ,
yeah, okay.
TJ, I'm playing against TJ. And, me and TJ, we all grew up in the same neighborhood, with TJ. He's at Urbana. And I'm like, man, TJ can shoot, TJ can play, this, and that. And after the game, we ended up winning. And I had, maybe like 8 or 9 points, 7, steals. Like, I was active. It was crazy. Hands everywhere. I'm bragging. We get in the film session. And coach is like, man, this guy killed you last night. Like, what? Like, he only had 6 points. He's like, well, he was responsible for 32. So we go look at the film, and I'm like, he's getting assists, he's setting back screens, you know what I'm saying? He's setting screens. I'm not talking, I'm not rotating properly, hedging, everything, and this guy's responsible for 32 points. And those are 32 points that, fortunately we won the game, but, it hurt our team. So that was just like, an eye-opener.
Dang, so that was your welcome to college moment.
That was my welcome to college moment. That's when I knew that it wasn't just about me locking my man up. Mm-hmm. Shoot, if he sets a screen and the guy gets a curl and gets open, that's my fault too. So,
yes.
Yeah, that was that moment.
So what was that moment? So that was your welcome to college moment. What was that moment, whether it be your freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, where it clicked and you're like, hold on, I'm all right out here. I'm decent out here.
It was my freshman year. I started several games. And I believe it was against Miles College. No, I take that back. It was against Albany State. Albany State down there in Georgia. And I used to wear these socks, hobo socks from DC. It was Help Our Brothers Out. It was a clothing line.
Yeah.
And I used to wear these socks. And we was playing Albany State, and they had this really good guard, man. And I was like, man, he's a conference, player of the year. I got to guard him, And I got a couple steals on him. Force him to some tough shots, then I started hitting some shots. And if you don't know, in the HBCU world, the fans are right there on the court.
Yeah.
They're right there on the court, so they yelling at you, they own you the whole time. And I hit a couple shots, and they're like, hobo. Before I hit those shots, they're like, hobo, who's hobo, So now when I'm hitting shots, I'm yelling, hobo. So that's when I knew, like, I was there, so.
Got any bangers, got any bodies?
Nah, I ain't got no bodies, but I had 7 dunks my freshman year, and I finished my career with 12. So
That's all right. Hey, that's
yeah,
all right.
man.
So as your collegiate career is starting to wind down, did you think not college coaching, but did you think coaching was in the future, or what was the next step when your senior year came about? What did you feel like you wanted to do next?
Well, my father he was a youth coach
Yeah.
for many years. T-ball, basketball. He started going to football towards the end, but I've been around coaching, at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I always said, I'm gonna coach once my playing career was done. I didn't think it was gonna be that early. Injuries occurred, things like that, and then I was like, well, while I wait on this phone call to try to get overseas, let me go ahead and start my master's.
Okay.
Start my master's educational wise, and then wanted to really say, you know what, let me give back.
Okay.
Let me contribute to the kids that's coming up, the next generation. So I started coaching. The call never happened. I stayed with coaching, got my master's, and I was like, man, let me help kids get into college.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the moment where I said, you know what, I'm done hooping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done hooping. I'm gonna go ahead and put all my time into the kids coming up and try to help that way.
Okay. So the important thing about that, like you said, you went and got your master's. That's very important for people watching this. To let kids know that sometimes your dreams don't unfold, and you still might need something to fall back on.
Absolutely.
So keep that master's in your back pocket. So as your collegiate basketball career was winding down, you became an assistant coach on Kentucky State staff, right?
Right. I was a graduate assistant.
Okay. So explain to me that process of being a graduate assistant on K-State's staff.
It's different. It's a lot different. It's not what you see on TV as far as the Division I college coaches, guys making all this money. When you're a graduate assistant at the lower level, it's more of you have to grind it out. That's what I learned, to take the initiative of doing everything. When you're a graduate assistant on the Division II level, you got to make sure uniforms are packed. You got to make sure meals are ordered, pre-game meals, dinners ordered. You got to make sure everything's all in order, and prepared for the next day, because, like I said, we don't have the finances, the funds for that to happen. So that was an experience of its own.
So you was doing that for a while, and were you doing that with the hopes of being a collegiate coach, or did you know you wanted to come back and coach high school?
Yeah, I knew it. I think I can coach college basketball, but I just wanted to get kids into college, or give them an opportunity to go and have that experience.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of people don't get that opportunity to go back and help. That was the thing that I always wanted to do. I wanted to help them get there. College was fun. It's strictly basketball. You on the road, you can love it, but I wanted to help in a different way. So
Okay. So you started putting out, feelers as far as, wanting to coach in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So explain to me, that process. As a matter of fact, how about you do this? It's going to tell a lot about you.
oh man,
When you got that phone call to say, hey, you're going to be Taste Creek's next basketball coach, who was the first phone call? It's just going to tell you who you love the most. Because when you get news like that, you want to call the most important person first. I'm going to put you on the spot.
man,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
There's going to be
think.
some hurt feelings after this.
I'm trying to think, man. I can say this. I know my brother was one of the first ones.
Okay.
He was one of the first. I think my mom and dad was up there. I think my girlfriend, Whitney, she was one of the first calls, but I think my brother was one of the main ones.
Okay.
He's always been supportive, so I think I called him and to tell him, like, Mark, I did it. Like, I got the job.
I feel that. So when you got the job to become, Taste Creek's basketball coach, who were some of your coaching influences that you wanted to model your practices, your game plan, and everything like that out?
Oh man, there's so many. I took a lot. So prior to coaching, here I was coaching AAU with Nimbo, who's now the head coach at Bryan Station.
Okay.
So I was taking stuff from Nimbo. I was taking stuff from Daniel Brown, because that's where I was an assistant coach there. My college coach, Clarence Moore, Wade Houston, Allen Houston's father, he was an assistant.
Okay.
Man, there's so many. Antoine Banks, he's assistant now at Alabama State. Alabama A&M. Sorry, he was my assistant at Kentucky State. I mean, it was so many people. I even called Lamont. I called Jarrod Brown. Just to take bits and pieces to add to my program. Watch a lot of college basketball. Unfortunately, I take from your guy, Roy Williams.
Yeah, we ain't too hot in the streets right now. We're not too hot in the streets right now.
Yeah, but I take from Roy. I take from, Cal, Coach K. I even look at some of the older coaches that these young kids would never know. Nolan Richardson, John Thompson.
90 minutes a hill, 45 feet?
40 minutes a hill.
40 minutes a hill, yeah.
It's just so many that I take from, but locally, some of my peers that way, you just take bits and pieces and you add it to your program, and you take some of the good stuff that's happened, some of the bad stuff that happened, and you learn from it, and you make sure that, hey, if this incident occurs, this is how you handle it. Gotcha. Or if you ever in this situation in a game, you revert back. Man, I remember when Jarrod Brown drew this play up, or when Daniel Brown called timeout here, or when Nimbo, drew this out of bounds play up here at the AAU Nationals. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, and you just add it to your program.
So you've been here for 3 years, right?
Yes, this is my 3rd year.
Okay, so any good coach knows that, those first 3 or 4 years, you're building a foundation of something that's going to last, 10, 15 years. That's the goal, right? So your first year here, explain to me how that first year went as you make that face at me.
It was tough. Being the competitor that I am, my coaching staff was like, we was coming here and like, man, forget everybody. We come here, we shocking the world, this, and that. And it went the exact opposite. It was 5-25 my first year. 5-25. I had some injuries with some key players, but it was just like, golly, I'm not used to losing that way, or the way that we were losing was just demoralizing at times. But as a coach, you got to keep these kids' spirits up. You got to keep them up, and we got better throughout the course of the year. Things started to go for a turn, but it was a humbling experience. Me being a little cocky that I am a little bit. Hey, we coming here. I'm coming to blow the number 1, number 2 team region out. Team in the region. We're gonna blow y'all out. And coming out and looking at the scoreboard like, golly, 45 looks ugly.
Real ugly. So what would you say is your most gratifying win since you've been here so far?
Oh man. Well, every win after that is gratifying, but I think this year we always talk about making history, leaving your name for something. It's the first time since 2012, I believe, that we had a district sweep. So we beat Lafayette twice in the same season. The first time since 2012. Last year was the first time that some of my guys had beat Dunbar. This was the first time we beat LCA in a few years. Bryan Station last year was the first time that we beat them, and it was a city sweep. Like, these are the first for some of these kids who's never, had the experience of winning. I tell the story all the time. Had a senior last year, well, my senior group, they haven't had a winning record, freshman, JV, varsity combined, until last year. Like, that was the big, what I'm saying? That's the big thing for me. And those wins are like, golly, like, I can see that I'm making an impact.
Okay.
And these guys are growing from it.
So explain to me, keeping with the high school, now that you're a coach, have you coached yourself in any of these players? Have you seen yourself and you was like, man, I used to be just like that?
Every single one of them.
Every single one of them?
That's why I'm hard on them. I'm extremely hard on my kids because, the game, I tell them all the time, the game can be taken away from you at any given moment. If it's out here in the community, if it's out here in practice, you go up for a layup, come down wrong, blow your knee out, then what?
Yeah.
So your approach, your attitude towards the game. My freshman year, I was, removed from the team, and it wasn't the coach's fault; it was my fault. So I'm trying to explain to them, things like this. If you don't fix it now, you get out here in society, then what happens? You got to fix it now. You don't want to get an opportunity to go to college, play college basketball. You get there, and then you got a piss poor attitude.
Yeah.
Now your attitude's bad, and they like, well, you know what? Here goes your bus ticket home. And now you're done. Now you're jumping from school, or trying to jump from school to school. Now you're not only messing up your basketball career, you're messing up your education, your finance. Now you in debt. Or you can't get to play at the second or third school because you owe the first school money because you didn't uphold your stand. You know, like all that comes into play. But it's a lot of kids that I see, I'm like, man, if you would just listen to me, trust me, believe in me, that I'm telling you the right thing. And it's a lot of them. My kids will tell me, like, Coach Gay's hard on us. He's very hard on us, but I just want them to be successful.
Coach Gay's improved me in many ways on the court, but I really want to point out how much he's improved me off the court too. He put me in certain standards to become a young man.
He helped me gain my confidence back from after when I got injured. Coach Gay has really helped me improve myself and like being effective, aggressive, just more energy on the court.
Coach Gay helped me with communication and confidence.
He's pretty much taught me how to be vocal. He's helped me become more of a leader, and pretty much helped me become more of an outgoing person.
Probably one of my most proud things I am of these guys and Coach Gay and our program is the academics. We have like double-digit guys, college ready, ACT qualified, and that's just phenomenal because it starts in the classroom, academics first, that's what we preach. That's what Coach Gay's tried to install since he got in here.
That's the makings of a great coach, because you're not just teaching basketball,
Right.
you're teaching life lessons
Right.
after basketball,
Right.
and letting these kids know, you can apply some of the same principles here as out there.
Absolutely.
And not only that, when these kids get to college, like you said, they have the piss poor attitude. In some ways, that's going to be a reflection of you, because they're going to be like, well, what was he teaching them at, Taste Creek?
Right.
You send these kids to school to have, grades and everything. They're going to be like, okay, so he's running a good program over it. Let me see what else he got over. And then, other coaches start coming picking
Yep.
from you.
And that's how it works.
Yeah, so I got you, Coach. So let me ask you this. What would be the more gratifying thing? Going to state as a coach or going to state as a player like you did?
Probably going to the state as a coach, because I'm creating memories for other people. That's the thing. You creating a memory for another kid that he'll remember forever. Lamont said it. Remember staying at the hotel on Broadway days in. Remember going to Deshays. Remember going to Columbia Steakhouse and eating as a team and staying in the hotel. Like just all that whole memory thing like that. You can never take that away. That right there is the goal, is to create memories and things that, hey, you can call a friend 20 years from now. Hey, man, you remember we went to state and we did this in the state? We still do it to this day. So as a coach, of course, as a coach.
Now, it's a group of you guys, where your friends, like you referenced Lamont, you said Jarrod Brown as
Right.
well at Woodford County. Do you guys have like a little inside, like who can get the most wins, and when y'all play against each other, some little inside things against each other, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, of course, because we all competitors and
Yeah.
we friends. I know Lamont got me this year. I got him last year.
Okay.
Yeah, so we 1-1, but he beat me this summer, and summer ball doesn't count, but he beat me, and I texted him after the game, was like, it don't go on my record this year. You know what I'm saying? But he got me this year, and I told him that we all agreed, like, we're going to try to create something to where we play each other every year.
Okay. Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? To get that, that rivalry going that way too. Jarrod, we always talk. I always tell him, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you, because Jarrod was my assistant. Well, we was assistants at Bryan Station, and Jarrod was coaching the JV, and I was coaching the freshmen. And we in practice, Jarrod used to get me, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you, but.
So, when you started here 3 years ago, you were 29. You were one of the youngest head coaches.
Yeah, if not the youngest.
If not the youngest in the city. How did that make you feel?
Made me feel great. I was honored, just to be in a position of leadership at a young age. A lot of people don't like when, young people are, in control or have leadership or have a say. It was an honor not only for the former players that played or the coaches here and everybody that went through Taste Creek, but it was an honor for my family. You know what I'm saying? That I was proud, and I know my dad was, but proud to say that I was doing the right things.
Yeah.
And I'm carrying on, the gay last name as doing the right thing and not, someone out in the streets or doing the wrong thing. And that was huge. That was huge.
So explain to me, with you being 29, the youngest head coach in the city, and also African American at the same time. Explain to me the importance of that and what that means to the community.
Basically, it was saying it was letting people know that you could do it too. You know what I'm saying? You can do it too. We heard all the stereotypes even when I first got into coaching high school. Well, you have to be this, or you have to be in here so long. You got to coach at this school. You got to know this person, this, and that. And it was a reveal of your character. You got good character, you're going to get a good opportunity. You get that opportunity, you make the most of it. And that's all you can ask for is the opportunity. And I tell the kids today, whatever you're going through or been through, there's always a brighter side on the other side. It's always a better thing on the other side. And you guys, you have that opportunity to do it. All you got to do is make sure, you got a positive attitude, you got a great character about it, and, whatever that you dream about doing, you can get that opportunity as well.
So let's switch it up, have a little fun a little bit. So you got a brother, right?
Yes.
Older brother, right?
Yes.
1-on-1, who was the better player?
Of course me.
Because I'm gonna tell you something different. I was told something different. I was told, when y'all was both, younger, mid, early 20s. I was heard he used to give it to you.
Oh, nah. Early 20s, nah. He hasn't beat me since, I want to say 9. I was 9, he was 12. So, of course, the physicality about it, he used to try to dunk on me. He's only 5'5" now, so. But yeah, he used to try to dunk on me, man. But he knows better today.
He knows better today.
He knows better today.
So we'll wrap this up. Let everybody know where they can reach you at. Where they can find Taste Creek's page on Twitter, Facebook, and things like that.
Yeah, we're on Facebook and Twitter. Taste Creek or TC Basketball _ off the top of my head. I believe as it is on Twitter. On Facebook, we Taste Creek Boys Basketball. You can find updates, game schedules, pictures, everything that way as well. So we got a big game next week coming up, GRC and Lexington Catholic. Trying to compete, trying to get the #1 seed in the district, which has been a long time since Taste Creek has done that. So we got a big game here. I believe it's next Friday.
Okay.
Versus Lexington Catholic.
All right. Yeah. When I was coming up through school, it was Albert Hughes who was here.
Yeah.
Justin Taylor, he was a little bit behind me, but they was all in that same class. That was probably the last time. I'm a Bryan Station defender, as you know, so it's the last time Taste Creek was halfway decent.
But the last time Taste Creek won the district was 2011 with Marcellus Barksdale. He was here. D. Gibson, the Fuseys, Ryan, the older brother Ryan was here. So they was good then. But it's been a while, and people forgot about Taste Creek.
And you here to restore that back to Taste Creek.
Trying to restore that tradition. So
I feel that well. Coach Gay, appreciate you hanging with us for a little bit.
Man. Thank you.
This has been Q Walk with Beyond the Game with Coach's Corner with Taste Creek basketball coach Jarrod Gay.